We like to say that our team here at Christians United for Israel has a very deep bench of talent. Well, today we are joined by two of our best. Ari Morgenstern is Kufai's communications director. Kasim Hafiz is our Middle East analyst. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. And wow, so much going on in the Middle East today. Thankfully, we have you guys to break it down for us and why it all matters to everyone sitting there at home. Ari, let's start with those terror tunnels dug by Hezbollah that the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, have uncovered. Tell us the latest on that Hezbollah terror tunnel threat.
Well, I think as most of your viewers know, Israel discovered no less than a half dozen tunnels dug underneath the border intended to send Hezbollah special forces, their equivalent of special forces, into Israel with one single goal: kill as many innocent people as possible. Thank God we have the IDF's intelligence. Thank God we have the IDF's ability to ensure that these terror tunnels were dispatched with and dealt with. But this is not a new tactic. Hezbollah is adopting the tactics of Hamas. When rockets don't work, tunnels are the answer. But the answer to both of those threats is the Israeli Defense Forces, and we're very happy that Israel was able to thwart that threat before it started taking innocent lives.
Yeah, and Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, Ari, kind of gloated about the tunnels recently and saying that it took Israel so long to find them, etc. But I have a feeling Israel knew they were there and waited to act at the opportune time.
I think that's right. Look at the investment that Hezbollah and Hamas on their end, but look at the investment that Hezbollah had to have made to develop these tunnels. These are not just individuals digging underneath the ground trying to get into Israel. This is a incredibly sophisticated effort that has lighting, that uses cement, that uses all kinds of infrastructure qualities that will enable the tunnels to really bring forces into what is Israel's territory. So the Israelis waited, I think, until the opportune moment to deal with the threat, and I am not surprised that Hezbollah is trying to spin their incredible loss as some sort of veiled victory.
Yeah, Nasrallah keeps talking also about an invasion of northern Israel and making noise about that, Ari. Kasim, we can't talk about Hezbollah without talking about its Iranian master. Can you talk about how Hezbollah is just a fully fledged arm of the Iranian regime in southern Lebanon? For sure.
I mean, Iran have said it numerous times that their most successful tool of exporting the Islamic Revolution has been Hezbollah. Hezbollah was founded during the civil war in Lebanon, and Iran have shown footage of their troops going to Lebanon to create and train Hezbollah, and essentially it is their most successful proxy. And Hezbollah's growth, Hezbollah's expansion, their weaponry, all of it has Iranian fingerprints on it. Hezbollah operates on Iranian orders, and that's something Hezbollah have accepted.
And Kasim, you've documented here for Kufai how Hezbollah's tentacles now spread not only from southern Lebanon, but also into Syria. Talk about why Syria is so important in Iran's greater goals to destroy Israel.
Now you have Iranian entrenchment on two, you could argue three, with Gaza, Israeli borders, and you have direct supply lines. Iran are flying flights full of weaponry, missiles, advanced technology straight into Syria, and they have land routes right into Lebanon, and the UN aren't really doing much.
To say the least. Surprise, surprise, right? Ari, we know that the Iranian regime wants to form that land corridor from Tehran all the way to the Mediterranean. Talk more about, number one, that land corridor goal of the Iranians, but number two, Iran's influence in the Middle East, pretty much controlling 4 Arab capitals.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's a key figure that we need to consider. Iran spends $16 billion a year propping up dictators and supporting terrorists. That's more than the entire United States Department of Transportation's annual budget.
$16 billion.
$16 billion, according to a report from...
And I shudder to ask, Ari, about what role the Iran nuclear deal and the billions we gave back to the regime played in that budget.
I think that there's a fairly easy logical conclusion that if, as the Iran deal did, you give a bad actor, an evil regime, $150 billion, they're going to use it to engage in bad actions to advance their evil regime. So whether it's in Yemen, where they're fighting, whether it's in Lebanon, where they are essentially through Hezbollah, the de facto rulers of the south of the country, or it's propping up the Assad regime and ensuring that that murderous, abhorrent dictator managed to stay in power. Iran has its tentacles throughout the Middle East, and Iran is spreading evil and violence at every opportunity that they can in that region.
Yeah, and a scary thought too, gentlemen, we're going to talk about this after the break, is Iran and Hezbollah not only have their tentacles throughout the Middle East, as Ari said, they also are spreading their tentacles in your backyard, right here in the West. Find out what Iran and Hezbollah are doing in the U.S. and beyond after the break. Stick around.